Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the final chapter of Fire Emblem, 2 Conquests and 2 Lunatics. I'm Mekkah. I'm joined here once again by the Gwimp. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. It's the Endgame. This chapter now.
Really cool endgame.
How many times people just like loaded up, beat chapter 27, they went the normal way, just like, oh geez, this map is actually kind of hard.
Uh-huh.
And then you get to Endgame and just like, well, if I die here, I have to beat chapter 27 again.
Yes.
It's like, wow, this is brutal.
I think I'm as familiar with chapter 27 as you are with the whole game. I've played it that many times in my attempts to beat it. It's so annoying.
It is. The enemy composition is like annoying. You have all these enemies like sucking you into these corners of the map.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no thank you.
It's very easy to manipulate though. I think they have like certain restrictions that make them not do anything sometimes. It's very funny.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny if you do try to play this map out. You can kind of get sucked into the side rooms. You have to like 1v1 these really strong enemies. But there's ways to choose this map. And it's gonna... it's funny.
We're gonna play really aggressive and turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part is the money squad up there with the spendthrifts. He's like, do plus 10 damage.
Yeah, it's sort of random which like room we get sucked into. Like, we don't one-shot this guy, so it's gonna be sort of annoying to kill. But we're not in actual any danger, I think.
Yo, nice soul, just in case. I told you, it's current HP percent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they are annoying, especially if you miss now.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, rip.
Yeah,
we don't have O2, that's right.
Now, it's random which boss will play. Like, Corrin literally destroys
all the other
three
rooms,
bosses. Yeah, but the ninjas like literally just one off of the shot.
I think whenever I reset the chapter, I fought the same one with the same units. But I guess it's determined when you start the map or something, or it's like
I feel like it's been pretty
some kind of deterministic RNG, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I could not tell you like what the AI's like entrap thing is, because like it's just seemingly random. As long as you're in the main, like the mates will entrap you for sure.
I feel like it might be based on your starting position, thinking about it. That seems like the most logical way it works.
Yeah, so we're just gonna... I'll take a quick little second. So as long as you're like somewhere on the map where the enemies can reach you, they'll just like follow you and they'll chase after you. Which is looking a little scary, right? Like all these enemies are coming after us, but because the ways the stairs work, we can sort of just bait them a bit.
Yeah, that's cute.
And because they moved, now the guy's like, oh wow, I can't actually target anybody. Okay, well, I'm gonna start moving back into my starting position.
Yeah, I think the ranged enemies can you see Corrin when she's like hiding on the stairs? Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Garon.
they can.
Okay.
But these enemies that were blocking Garon are already out of the way.
Yeah.
So. Citra!
I live. Ugh. Yo, Garon about to die.
Yeah, he's kind of a chump.
Let's kill boss, right? Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing we brought a brave sword, so we could not use it. What the hell? Wait, why did we do 10 now? Oh, he can get debuff last time.
We got strength shield. We did a quick little run through, and it was like literally like 5 minutes.
Citra, I'm sorry, it'll be over soon. Don't explode. Okay.
No, Gurin!
We should try to show the Takumi cutscene though, because it's kind of cool. The arrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. Citra will probably explode, but that's okay.
Was it this one? Which cutscene is
it's whenever it looks good. It needs to look good.
It looks
that's not good looking. That's Great Knight Corrin. It never looks good. This is one. This is the one. There
no! Takumi. So he was the bad guy all along?
I knew it!
What a plot twist!
I didn't see it coming when I first played this game.
Oh really? Me neither, honestly. I was playing everything in Moon Runes and Japanese, and I could not read anything that was going on. So seeing him as the final boss, I was like, wow, that's actually kind of wild. Didn't see that coming, like, unironically.
He still missed though. I think that's a bit unrealistic, but hey. Maybe he was fighting the... Was it? What do you call it? He's being possessed. That's the word I was looking for. He's fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Battle units or
yes.
whatever.
Finally, it will all pay off now. Odin Dank MVP. Wow, I can't believe you're benching these people.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. All right, so we've been like sort of meticulously planning out like the skills that Corrin have been picking up this entire playthrough.
Corrin ate everything we ever found. It's like, oh, stat booster, really good. Oh, Gwimpage already gave it to Corrin.
Yum.
All right.
Ooh, yum. What's it from? Ooh,
stat boosters are a personal weapon of Corrin's. What do you think of the fact that you cannot save here? I can't make my mind up about it. I don't like it, but I also don't hate it, because I get the idea. But it's like...
Okay, if you don't know how to choose chapter 27, I think it's brutal, because this map is very mean. There's like inevitable ends in people's staff stacking enemies that just completely destroy anybody's like hope of tanking this. So like so far, you know, we've been stat stacking Corrin or like Xander or something, and we were just like enemy phase everything. But like the enemy composition and the enemy skills combined with the enfeeble staff savant enemies, like it just kind of makes it unrealistic in most cases. Like I've actually done this map, like going through it normally, and it took a lot of effort, like using the silent staff or like entrapping specific enemies that are like dangerous, and just like using free staff. It was a big hassle. I think effort wise, it's a lot better just to skip. Plan out the boss kill ahead of time. Plan out how you're gonna get to Takumi, because he's very far away from your starting position.
Yeah, he's just right across the room. And I remember I was ready to cheese this map. I was fine with that. But the problem is, it's so hard to plan it out if you can't try things out, you know? Normally, if you try to plan a map, you're just playing it. But if you try it and you fail, you have to go back through 27. It's just so annoying.
It's so punishing and kind of brutal, especially if you like played chapter 27 the normal way. Because we just cheesed it. It only took like 2 minutes or something. It was pretty fast. But like if you actually like, I don't know, spend half an hour plus like playing it out, like it's so heartbreaking getting to this map and then just dying to like, a combination of all these enemies, because their ranges are like overlapping pretty too.
I think like, even when I played this back on normal, it was so difficult to get through. Definitely. Because
like warrior fighter generals that are overlapping with these mages, and then like their attack range is overlapping with these status staffs over here.
Yeah, I think you can move out like a little bit from starting position without like endangering yourself from everyone, but once you're like 5 squares in, like everything could just murder you. It's so bad.
Yeah, like everything's covering each other. So like, so for the last like years or since Conquest came out early, everybody sort of just agreed on that like this map is probably just best done by just skipping it.
Yeah, I know on Mekkah, on my Mekkah's Keep, my Discord server and the Fates channel, they pinned like a thing made by Zoran about like what do you need at minimum to beat this chapter in 1 or 2 turns. Like how can you cheese it very easily? Like easy requirements. Our Corrin is like custom made for this endgame. Is a little overkill to make it even easier. But
yeah,
you definitely don't need this Corrin to make it this easy. Or rather, you don't need Corrin for it to get an in-game cheese.
Yeah, there's some math or something. Like, you need a specific, like, strength stat. You need to be in Great Knight. You need B-rank swords. You need B support with Gunter, like, in a Wyvern class. So you need, like, 48 strength plus, like, Strength 2, Defender, Trample, and Elbow Room. Like, those 4 skills will actually push you over the threshold to Takumi kill. Like, we're stacking a lot of stats right now. This is pretty much, like, max investment that we can do.
Stack is massive.
But this is because we're plus magic minus luck. If you go with a plus strength boon, it's a little less strict. You can sort of get away with doing a little more if you don't go minus luck, and maybe if you're plus strength even. But yeah, we can start the chapter.
Yeah, sure, let's play. Let's go. I'm down.
Yeah. So we end up rallying for the extra stats.
The fact that this Falco is so good is so amusing to me.
Yeah, then we just like ended up capturing her as like a last second deal, and it was like, wow, that's actually pretty like convenient.
You know, Kachepper wasn't unreliable enough, so it made it a little worse. Now it pays off.
So we have 2 rescue uses. Having
Yeah.
2 rescue uses definitely trivializes the whole setup, because the whole setup for this is a lot more intricate if you don't have an extra rescue use.
But hey, we're there, and guess what?
Hey, guess what?
It's so beautiful.
Wowee.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, the math.
It's okay, Citra. It's okay. It's just Takumi. He won't hurt you.
I will kill you, MRL. No, please. He's killing Citra. It's okay.
Yo, Aegis this. Yay! The flex.
Get rolled.
Max flex.
Yeah, we needed that Aegis.
It's not your time yet. I love the little jump that the other one made, the clone.
He's just like standing there awkwardly. It's like, oh, okay.
What do I do now?
I'll leave, I guess. Good luck, y'all.
Well, Rip Takumi. You were
a
a chapter
Endgame.
for sure.
Yeah, having the pass Falco with 2 uses of rescue, you know. Definitely makes it a lot easier.
It was
Because,
insane how simple that was.
Yeah, you need to set up like a double refresh in the middle of the map if you only have 1 use of rescue.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is just, I think this is the like literally the most simple thing you could do. Most simple
Yeah, you
way
don't
you could
even
do
need
it.
rescue. Yeah, you don't even need like pass as well. There's more intricate strategies that you can do that doesn't require pass. But because we're able to like sort of plan up ahead for the end game, we're able to sort of make it a joke.
Yeah,
Manga.
but a funny joke.
Yeah, so, I don't know. This is definitely my favorite game. One of my favorite games in the series for sure. Like I could do without the story. Like the story is sort of like, it's all right on its own. It's not something that I'm super interested in. But gameplay, chef's kiss. Like,
I agree.
so fun going back and replaying.
Yeah, I've get a new appreciation for this game after this playthrough, because there were several times where I like started a playthrough or I don't know, was looking into it, and I was like, this game is intimidating because I feel like I have to know what everything does, every skill, every enemy, every weapon all the time to make it through. And I didn't think you could overpower the enemies with just like brute force stat stacking the way that we did. But in that regard, you really opened my eyes with like the things that Xander and Corrin, especially, and Camilla too, can do. And I know
Because we had like 3 or 4 units that were just like super dominant the entire playthrough, and you had characters like Kaze that like specialized in making a lot of the parts easier. Like I'm sure Corrin could have handled the sorcery room, but Kaze made it so much safer and like just kind of made mage killing like super easy the entire. See. I love how everybody memes on this cutscene, even people that don't even play Fire Emblem.
it's deserved.
Like I've seen this clip like on Twitter like so many times already.
It's so terrible. Well, absolutely. I really like that you can actually approach the game that way, because I thought for the longest time that this game actually had to be approached a traditional way. Like you use a lot of different units to handle a lot of different enemy types and different, you know, compositions of these enemies. Like it kind of seems like it demands it, but apparently you can just overpower it so badly that you can just win until like the very end where you just get inevitable ended to death.
Yeah, it was
Then you
pretty
just
funny. Like the development of this game, or like this sort of like meta that we all sort of went through. It's just like, you know, this game's actually really hard. Like you need to use lots of different units that like specialize in different things that can like sort of handle different areas of the game. But then it sort of just like devolved into like, well, if you want to make it easier, using less is easier, isn't it?
We're told to make.
And then you have like class jumping, where people are getting used to the reclassing of the game. Just like, wow, Corrin can actually pick up some really broken skills that just make them like kind of broke it.
In my
Yeah, mostly
way,
offensive skills, right? Because defensively, I think almost we barely use skills to like make our defensively bulky, right?
And understanding.
Yeah, things like natural cover,
Xander,
which is
are you
like
okay? An understanding.
With you to guide my hand.
This is your brain on Corrin, Xander, Camilla.
Oh, definitely, because like if you're using like we use like 4 basically, right? We use Corrin, Camilla, Xander, and I guess Kaze as well, and with the varying amounts of like resources poured into them. I guess Odin counts as well because we give him some resources too.
Yeah, we used Jacob for quite a while.
Oh yeah, Jacob got a lot too. And then because we only used, like, let's say it's 6 units. It's not, they didn't get equal amounts every chapter overall, but we used roughly 6 units. If we had used like 10 instead or 12, we would have had so much less flexibility with all of their classes because we only get so many heart seals before 20.
Yeah, like my approach to it has been like you want to use like a carry, I guess, like somebody that wants to kill lots of people, and then you have like other units that are like they're pretty good if you train them up, but like they're kind of worse than other units at like sort of combat or like killing like enemies like easily. Like the difference between using like Jacob and Silas versus I don't know like Cavalier Effie or like some weird other character like it's a little easier. Yeah, like Perry for sure is a better example. It's a little easier using some characters than others, so like I find it a lot easier to just turn those lesser or weaker units into just support characters that like just improve your stronger characters. Mm-hmm. Like we use Silas, who is a very strong character, but like I think we used him
shelter, yeah.
Like, yeah, as shelter, he was a support unit, but he can do combat if you like really wanted to. It just in my personal experience, I think he's a very strong unit until like mid-late game, where he sort of falls off compared to other characters.
Kind of like Jacob, right? Roughly the same time.
Yeah, Jacob and Silas both reclassed into flying classes, and were like really good at support, like transfers, shelters, getting a kill every now and then.
We partner stealed Silas, right? With Azura, yeah.
Yeah, we partnered into Falco, which actually I feel like sort of made him last like a lot longer as a helpful unit throughout the game. And that was mostly because we were like doing so much dance throughout the game.
Oh yeah.
I actually like I'm a pretty big fan of Azura and Silas pairing off because you can realistically do it. Like our turn counts were pretty like.
Yeah, I think the only time we took extra turns at all was the Kana Paralog. Everything else we did pretty fast, which is, I think, another thing I really enjoyed about this playthrough is the no dallying rule zone, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no dally zone.
Because like whenever I see this game or like a threatening situation, I like to think, okay, how can I calm the map down? How can I calm the situation down to make sure we don't die? Whereas I don't, because in order to be aggressive like you are, you need to be very familiar with the game in order to like make the exact right move. Because if you do one tile off, your unit just dies. They just blow up. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna clamp down, hide behind Xander until it's all over.
Oh, for sure. It's a knowledge thing too. Like there's just some things that you sort of pick up. Like in the Reina chapter, where it's just like, there's a specific like setup that you can do at the start of the map that just makes the map way easier. But like if you're kind of unaware of these like little strategies, like the map just a lot harder.
Yeah, it's
like Reina is covering the majority of the map, and she's covering like different attack ranges with other units as well. So it's really hard just like dealing with things like that if you're unaware.
Yeah, with the Reina map especially, it's like a one-turn strategy, those are easy to find out about, right? Those kind of one-turn strategy, because it's literally just like a dance in a lunge away, and you got it. Not a whole lot needed, and it's like you can easily pick that off just looking at one video, and you're like, okay, I got the strategy down. But I remember in particular chapters, there was like times where it was like, maybe we can do this or that. You're like, oh, we need to watch out for this one guy in this one back of the pair up that has this weapon or this thing, or like the one guy that has, I don't know, armor blow or what's the other thing, duelist blow or stuff like that. That makes it tricky, like a sword catcher or stuff like that.
The Takumi map had like a couple of those pair-ups where there's a sniper out in front, but then in the back, the sniper pair-up like on the back has like life and death, so he does like 10 more extra damage or something stupid. things like that can kind of easily catch you off guard as well.
Yeah, if you don't see that, you just get blown up. You just die. And this game, I have a weird take on this game. I feel like it would be maybe better or easy to learn if it had save points, because then you could just kind of progress from one section to the other. I feel like that's
the DS Fire Emblem games. Like, I'm a really big fan of how the save points are in that game. It's not cheesy like FE10 battle saves, but
yeah.
Yeah, it would have been pretty nice to have those in this game as well. I think overall, on the chapter 17 turns. That chapter is definitely not my brightest moment, the Siegbert Paralog.
Oh, yeah, oh god.
If we redid that, I think we could just snipe the Mechanist pair up like early on and try to make it much less of a pain that way.
I don't remember what went wrong there, because I know we initially knew that the Mechanists were the biggest threat that we wanted to get rid of first, because they were like the most restrictive on our actions. But I don't remember why we didn't manage to do it. I think maybe because of healing AI on enemies that we didn't manage to do it.
A lot of this playthrough is actually like sort of super improvised and like not planned out. I think we only sort of planned out chapter 24.
Yeah,
and I guess Endgame just to look at the tiles and stuff.
Yeah, but you could have figured out Endgame like in literally like 2 extra minutes of recording if we did it.
Yeah,
it was like last minute improvised. You just knew the requirements. That was basically it.
Everything for this was like improvised. It wasn't like planned out or like, because a lot of this game, I guess I have fun is just like improvising, like just sort of going on the fly, like boom, boom, boom. I know other playthroughs like will sort of efficient playthroughs will sort of like redo a map a number of times to shave turns and stuff. But yeah, that's not how I would do it. Or
no, I do actually enjoy the improvising. I just hope I can play this game again often enough to where I can also improvise my way through, because I find myself going back reflexively to all those like turtley strategies to get through. So I guess what I'm gonna do to the next couple, like, whatever years, is just playing this game over and over. Maybe not on Lunatic, maybe sometimes on hard, and trying to see like, okay, what else can I do with this game? Because I feel like if I just did the same units compositions as this playthrough, we would kind of get boring kind of fast. Because if I just like,
that's what I really like about this game is the cast is overall very well balanced.
Yeah.
You can use like a lot of different characters with different builds and things. It's like your Corrin is like super variable. Like, there's different ways you can take Corrin and like help different carries like that you want to S rank with Corrin. Like just giving them the Corrin like marriage like just like supercharges their combat and like their like skill availability and everything.
Yeah, is there any other kind of team composition / Corrin marriage that you would recommend trying? But besides this one? Because I feel like the Jacob one, it was fun, but it kind of like, he fell off late in the game. So I'm looking for something that's like more all game long good, I guess, is what I'm saying.
There's a couple things that you can do. I know I like using Cavalier Corrin, and then sort of like marrying like Camilla, so Camilla has Paladin as well. So things like that kind of like are interesting. But most of the time I end up using magic in this game for Corrin.
That's fair. We didn't really use like magic classes though, right? We used like Levin Sword and Bolt Axe, and Bolt Axe was 1 chapter, and Levin Sword was like 3.
Yeah, you can sort of, if you want, you can friendship with like Odin if you're male. Male Corrin actually has a lot of different options because you can friendship with Silas really early on, so you can get capped that way, and it's sort of a different experience playing male Corrin, because female Corrin like has her own ups and downs. Having early Jacob makes the reroute split like a little easier.
Well, yeah, but you can get most of the thing from Jacob by not even marrying him, right? You just get a fast A support, and you still get most of the benefits, right? I guess you don't get... what did we get out of Jacob? I guess we got the S support, I guess? And we got Jacob being really powerful. That was really good in chapter 10, I'm not gonna lie. That was really good.
Yeah, Jacob's dominant, I would say, like, all the way up until maybe chapter 17. even maybe 18. I know we sort of consciously started using him less around like 16,
Yeah.
but like he can like stay pretty good like for a lot longer than we were sort of. Well, I wouldn't say a lot longer, but we were focusing on other units as well at that same time.
I remember,
Because like the mid game's like where you want to shift towards like your end game team.
yeah. I
Because when
remember,
Corrin promotes, like, oh my god, you have so many different options if you plan properly.
yeah. I think the turning point was definitely around 16, 17, 18 or so. I remember in 17 I was still surprised to see Jacob like one-shotting ninjas or something. Like they're like still an insane amount of damage.
Oh, for sure.
I think in 16, I think that map, the boat map with Shura, it very much incentivizes you to use 2 characters to clear almost everything, and you just get Xander. He's right there, so you might as well.
Yeah,
and then you just Camilla from the other side, and you're done. You don't need Jacob.
I remember that. It was like a little scuffed because Camilla was like super exposed, and like some enemies were left alive because we weren't planning anything out. It was just sort of like, all right, time to record. Let's play.
Yeah. That's true, but that makes it more fun. I think, like you said, the improvising makes it really fun. I think one improvisation that I really enjoyed was like we were playing the Ophelia parallel because I just saw Ophelia pop up, so I was reminded, and then we realized, you know, half this map is like bows or whatever, and we had like 5 wyverns at that point, and Odin. So like Odin became like one of our best units, or the best unit for that map, just because he could like survive the enemy phases. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
I get. Like, some maps is like, oh damn, another Corrin party, original today, are we? But then Odin would like come in with like an Aster crit advantage on an enemy, is like, okay, my day is made again, this is so funny. Odin was like the spice of the playthrough, I feel like, the funny part.
Yeah, I like that you can sort of like flex with different characters as well. Like, even if you are just sort of like, oh yeah, it's another Corrin solo, you can still use like interesting characters that sort of like do really well. Like, I know Silas is sort of a lot of people's like favorite character to go to because he can reclass into ninja, he can reclass into hero to pick up soul, so he's like using soul at 1 to 2 range. So things like that like are a lot of fun that you really have a lot of options to sort of go for.
Yeah, I think even though it's like, oh, got Corrin solo or whatever, Camilla solo, it's like the same thing over and over again. But the details in how you play with those characters are really different. Like, this game does such a good job of like both having a cast of units that are like good, but even though the best units are clearly like there's a clear top 5 or whatever of units you make, these units can be built in so many different ways that they still feel like different-ish characters without losing their whole personality. That's like a big problem I have with the 3 houses, for example, where characters feel very samey. Between characters even, where you want them to build mostly similar ways. But in this game, there are better classes and better skills for every unit, but you can still do like a lot of different things with them and also use a lot of different characters and still be viable. So you have a lot of options like both horizontally and vertically, I guess is what I'm saying. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of my favorites for being able to be flexible with different units and stuff. Like, it was sort of kind of nice how Xander was able to reclass into Knight and hero, pick up some different skills, and then he was able to sort of carry and do stuff while in hero.
I think he went to hero for like literally 1 map, and that was still helpful. Which is quite interesting. Even though he just...
It was pretty funny how much we stat stacked versus the last few chapters of the game. Corrin and Xander completely like destroyed the general room in chapter 26. When we were recording that day, I was a little anxious. I was like, oh geez, I haven't played chapter 26 in a bit, and these last few like chapters are actually kind of evil.
They are. Like, 26 was really like I said, is like quintessential endgame where they throw everything at you that makes Conquest so difficult. Like versatile enemies, difficult compositions, and enemy skills and weapons that are all over the place. But
yeah,
Corrin was so good that it barely even mattered at some points. You could barely tell what kind of clash he was facing. He was just killing everything. So dumb. That was great.
I just love how it sort of looped around at the very start when you're like learning learning what's good in the game. It's just like, oh wow, Xander and Corrin, they're pretty good. They're unga bunga. And then you like sort of start like, I don't know, playing the game more and just like, oh wow, these other characters are really good. Like, they're pretty strong. And then you sort of like reach a certain point and it's just like, well, that's also a lot of effort. And a lot of planning. And then you sort of devolve back to Corrin and Xander.
Basically. Because I always find it interesting to see people use characters that I already know are good, but see how they utilize it is almost more interesting than trying to use different characters, I think. Because you can, like, the way I use Xander makes him, like, maybe roughly on par with, like, how good Odin was in this playthrough, I guess. It's kind of a weird way to phrase it. But then the way you can use Xander, if you use him optimally, you give him, like, the best skill sets, a marriage partner, and seal timing, whatever, support characters. And then he suddenly becomes even better than that. Like I made a top 15 best Fire Emblem characters like as units a while ago, and back then I was like, I'm not familiar enough with Conquest, so I'm not going to put any characters from Fates in there at all. And now I think if I made it again, I definitely put Corrin in there right now because they were just that busted throughout the whole game, and then maybe like Camilla or Xander, depending, because they all have their drawbacks as well, like availability, but still they're so good.
Yeah, Camilla actually could have helped with the chapter 26 general room. Like she's pretty interchangeable with either Corrin or Xander in that room. So like her combat is crazy good the entire game. Like I definitely think she's like one of the better units in the entire series, just because of how busted she is.
Yeah, it's been a while since we got Camilla, since like chapter 10, but I remember in that chapter she's like nearly OHKOing enemies, but then also doubling them and like barely taking any damage whatsoever. It's quite unfair. I wouldn't say unfair because the game is still challenging even if you use Camilla, but she definitely cuts out a lot of the challenge that
I
they
like
intend
how
to be there.
she's like super strong, but like the game has checks for her that you have to play around. Like there's no way about it. You have to play around them if you want to use Camilla like super strong. But then I don't know, it's kind of funny like how we reclassed Corrin into Malignite and then we gave her Horse Spirit and like it didn't even matter if bows had effective damage on Corrin.
Yeah. I think the game is like, it has checks for these good units, but it's like the longer you play, the easier you can figure them out anyway. Like no matter how many checks they might try to put in, there's always a way around for the player base to get through it. I remember in like earlier games, for example, you'd have like an FE10, you have these formations with like enemies with a couple Thunder Mages, like this will deter hard. And you have like the older games where it's like, they put like a little group of fighters and mercenaries and then 2 archers like, haha, this will stop the flyers. And then you fly and you kill the 1 archer that's in there. And then he's like, okay, this is free real estate now for my unit, goodbye. And you just enemy phase them all, you win. This game definitely does a better job of like stopping that to an extent. Like even though you have characters that are really strong, you still have to put some effort into making them good. Like Xander alone isn't enough. You still have to like give him rallies, give him like inspiring song, and he'll double. And that's like sure. But at that point, you're stacking like plus 10 speed on him if you include like cooking and tonics and pair up. And then it's understandable that doesn't always work because like they can't really make the game immune to that kind of play unless they might want to add like another difficulty on top of it, right? That'd be a bit too much for new players.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely just like, my favorite.
It was great.
One of my favorite games for it. Well, that was it.
That was it. We 5'd all the way to the end.
2 conquests, 2 lunatics.
Yes, I feel more lunatic now than ever. I'm glad we've conquested the lunatic in me, in you, in all of us. Last but not least, thank you all so much for watching and your super kind comments. There's some very dedicated commenters beneath these videos always that I want to say thank you.
From the comments too.
Yeah.
Like, just people pointing stuff out. It's just like, oh, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. The versatility.
Look, 4 points.
Yeah, the versatility of the game's cast and the game's mechanics in general really shows in the comments as well, because all these people have been posting their personal preferences and ways they build units and the ways they tackle maps, and that was super interesting to me to read as well, because I feel like you could never stop learning about this game. It's so deep and so interesting.
There's so much like different Corrin builds that just synergize with like different classes and characters. Like there's so many different things you can do. Like.
So great. Definitely gonna revisit this because now I can just play this game as often as I want because I'm no longer afraid of fucking the save files up. So I'm definitely gonna do that soon as well.
Well, I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing that.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Gwimpage, thank you so much for playing this with me. This was an awesome idea. Your idea, by the way, really good idea. I loved it. Very fun.
Yeah, thanks for playing with me. It was so much fun. It was like really enjoyable to hang out and do stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Thanks everybody for watching. Take care, everybody.
Later.